Hey, everybody. My name is Aaron Katzman. I'm a licensed financial advisor both in Israel and in the United States. It's my first attempt at a Facebook Live, so bear with me. I don't exactly know what I'm doing, but I'm sure it'll work out well. Um, I'm wearing a yellow shirt because everybody's home. We're working from home. We're all sort of, in lockdown and working remotely, and it's Dress Down Monday. And I wanted to share with you just a few tips on financially how you can make it through this COVID-19 crisis. Now, most of you have heard of me because I've got a wildly successful podcast. And you know what they say? I've got a face for radio. Anyway, I am here. My children are behaving. They're all here. Joe, get off the chandelier, please. Anyway, no, everybody's behaving really, really well. And in all seriousness, I thought this would be a really good way to start my first Facebook Live. So I'd like to speak about a few tips that you can do. Now, one is probably not going to help you so much now for to help you through Corona now, but in any future crisis, it's going to help. And I pound the table and I speak all the time about the need for individuals to have an emergency fund. What's an emergency fund? It's about 3 to 6 months of your living expenses where you just put away. You don't try to get rich on it. You're not going to become a millionaire on it. It's money to have in case of a rainy day or, a Corona day, no pun intended. But the fact of the matter is there are people out there right now that are hurting because they've got no money saved up in cash and they've been furloughed, right? Or they've been fired and they've got zero income coming in and they don't know how they're going to put bread on the table in the coming weeks. And, the only way they're going to be able to do so is if they sort of planned ahead and they have an emergency fund. So again, it's incredibly important. All you have to do is figure out what are your expenses on a monthly basis. And then, once this passes and we're all back to work and we're all earning good salary, go back and start feeding the emergency fund. That's where, in fact, it's probably more important for you to cut your investments, putting money into investments and get your emergency fund funded so that, again, whenever we have another crisis, and we're going to have another crisis, right? We're pretty much on schedule every 10 years to have a crisis. We had the subprime banking crisis in 2008, and in 2000 we had the internet bubble crash, then we had 9/11, and before that we had another banking crisis in the late 80s. So it's pretty much every decade or so bad things happen, and those who are prepared and don't get caught up in all the euphoria but stick to the basic principles, they end up doing really, really well. The next tip I'd like to say are for those of you who are actually invested and worried about the extreme market volatility, which was not so volatile because it basically was just one direction. I guess volatility, things have to go up and down, but if things just go in a straight line down, it's not so volatile. So after the market lost 35% of its value in like 6 weeks, the fastest drop in the history of stock market investing outside of, I think, including the Depression, investors are left scratching their heads like, what should we be doing? And I think the answer for most people is stay the course. Don't really do anything. As long as your portfolios are allocated correctly based on your goals and your needs and your risk tolerance levels, then, just hang in there. Markets recover. We've already sort of recovered now, but again, 3 days recovery doesn't really mean much. But what we can say is there are a lot of analysts out there who predict the market will go back to record highs in very, very short amount of time. And even if they don't, if it takes a year, if it takes 2 years, if it takes 3 years, in 5 years from now, 6 years from now, you're not going to even remember that this was a crisis and that you lost at one point over the course of a month and a half that you lost 35% of your value, right? How many people remember that in 2008, they lost a third of their portfolio value? They did for some time, but then years go by and markets go back to record highs and they set new records and new records. So stay the course. I know it's not simple and you have to have sometimes nerves of steel, but if you stay the course, you're going to be richly rewarded, right? Richly rewarded. I just winked at my little girl. That's the advantage of doing Facebook Live from your living room. Anyway, so just in some summary, right? We'll keep this sweet. We'll keep this under like 6 minutes. 2 tips. Number 1, emergency fund. I can't stress the importance of having an emergency fund, right? Put money on the side, feed it every month until you get between 3 to 6 months of your monthly expenses put away in case something like the times we're living in now happen and you're out of work, you've been furloughed, you've got no money, and you've got to put food on the table. You got to pay the rent, you got to pay the utilities, right? Those things aren't really stopping. So if you follow that basic principle, you'll do fine. Principle number 2, for those of you who are invested already, if your portfolio is allocated in the correct manner and it fits your investment profile, you can meet your goals, your needs over the long term, stay the course. I wouldn't make very many changes or no changes at all. And I think that you will be rewarded down the road. I can't tell you when, but over time, historically, markets tend to bounce back. Thanks a lot for watching. If you got any questions or comments, feel free to email me at Aaron, A-A-R-O-N, at Lighthouse with an L, lighthousecapital.co.il. That's Aaron at lighthousecapital.co.il, or you can check me out on the web at www.aaronkatzman.com. That's www.aaronkatzman, aaronkatzman.com, aaronkatzman.com. Thanks a lot for watching, and if we get good comments and people actually like this format, we'll do more of these, and I might even put on a white shirt or a jacket just to make it a little more formal, because after all, we are speaking about your life, your investments, and your money. And we'll speak to you soon. And just, you can catch me, one more thing, catch me on the web. You can, on my website at aaronkatzman.com, you'll hear my podcasts, Facebook Live. We're out there on social media. We're out there in the Jerusalem Post with a weekly article. So you can find my content all over the place. Have a great day. Stay safe and stay healthy. And we'll speak to you soon.